because I want to get on to the other big issues.
Okay.
The other big issues include the economy, which people want us not to forget about.
Okay.
And we have issues about Europe we're discussing this week.
Sure.
But cleaning up the system is the first stage.
Well, if you want to clean up the system, is it remotely acceptable that these MPs who've been suspended from the party, so bad are the charges against them, are then able to sit in the House of Commons for another 12 months or whatever it is, taking public money, and then get a great big payoff at the end of it? Should they not be stepping down as MPs? Now, should we not have by-elections?
But they've got to go through proper process. We don't have a recall system in this country.
Should we?
Well, that's something that people might debate. Look, what happens is if someone's convicted of fraud, they're out. There's a by-election. If someone becomes bankrupt, they're out. They're a by-election. If someone is before a committee of the Labour Party or before a committee of the House, then the House will decide then what the punishment is. So you've got to look at all these things for the future.
Scores of people who have been...
I don't think so.
Have been in the papers.
They're all going through a proper process. And if anybody's broken the law, they will end up not just out of the House of Parliament, but will end up facing the consequences of the law. And I, do not shrink from that, because these are discoveries that nobody expected to find happen. And once they've happened, we've got to take action.
There are lots of people who will not face prosecution, but who are frankly in disgrace. And they're in disgrace in front of the public for very good reasons, and they're going to sit in the House of Commons and carry on taking public money and then get a nice fat payoff.
Well,
it's not cleaning up politics.
I don't think that when the Kelly Committee reports that this thing will be as it is, because we've asked Kelly to look at all these things. This is Sir Christopher Kelly, who's I asked actually the Committee of Standards to look at this thing. Included in that is severance payments for MPs. I think it's only fair to let look. If I decided what the severance pay was, people would say it's not fair. Let's let an independent committee look at this and let them come back, and that's what they're going to do.
And what about?
Look, I just say, Andrew, every area that you're worried about, and people are rightly worried, and people are rightly annoyed. I'm annoyed, but every area I've tried to find a way that we can actually deal with it with due process, because due process is necessary in the British Constitution as well.
Is that why people think you've dithered a bit on this and been a bit slow? I'll give you an example.
I don't think I've been slow, because I wanted to get it right.
Well, Hazel Blears, totally unacceptable, you said, and then you appeared to back her, and then we read that she's going to go in the next reshuffle. That kind of will she, won't she?
I don't think
seems
so.
to be slow footwork.
I don't think it helps to comment on individual people at this stage when we're looking at the principles of the system. But what I would say to you is this: where something has been wrong, I have not hesitated to point out it's wrong. But equally at the same time, people have got to go through due process. If there's an investigation being carried out, hold on. If there's an investigation being carried out by the House of Commons into these MPs, let's get the full facts, not the partial facts we got from the Telegraph. I haven't seen all the returns. The Telegraph has seen all the returns. Let's get the full facts and let's go through due process.
Well, totally unacceptable wasn't my words, that was your words. And if it was totally unacceptable for her, a lot of people say, well, what about James Purnell? What about Jeff Hoon? What about Alistair Darling? What about Ed Balls? What about lots of other ministers?
Yes, but
what makes them different?
But I think if you were to go through every individual case, which is in a sense what's impossible on a programme like this, you'll find that every case is absolutely different from the other, and you've got to look at the details. There's got to be due process. These things are being looked at by what you might call the Committee of the House of Commons with independent auditors. They're looking into this matter. Where there is wrongdoing, it will be exposed. Where people need to be punished, they will be punished. Where repayment needs to be made, it will be made. I did not come into politics to allow a situation to develop where MPs ran away with money that they didn't deserve.
So why do you think the public blames the Labour Party?
Well, I've got to tell you, I was brought up in a household where integrity and telling the truth and doing everything honestly was what really mattered. And hold on. And if your conscience dictated that you'd done something wrong, you actually sorted that out immediately. I think people do have higher standards for the Labour Party, and I think we've got to meet these higher standards. And it's to meet these higher standards that we brought in all these new changes that I think you're surprised to hear are as detailed as they are already.
Well, let me go through some of the wider proposals that have been made about political reform.
Remember, it's transparency and changing the system for good. So transparency is the essence of this, and this will apply to all public institutions.
Fixed-term parliaments, yes or no?
I don't think fixed-term parliaments is the big issue. I think the big issue is this. Well, the big issue is this. The accountability. Hold on. Let's see what the big constitutional issue is. What people are worried about is the disengagement between the public and those people who are in power. So Parliament has got, and the executive, have got to be more accountable to the people. And the rights of people have got to be better protected than they are at the moment. Now, how do you do that? It's quite major and surgical constitutional change that is necessary. And I started this process 2 years ago. I think you would admit, when I proposed a major constitutional reform, we took powers away from the executive. We gave them, frankly, to Parliament. Parliament has now proved that it